Hey, how's it going? Anthony Farrow here, Create Sci-Fi. Today is pretty cool, announcing that next week, Tuesday, the 10th of March, Zenith Run, episode 1. Now, right away, if you're watching this in the future, it's fine, because this video is going to highlight everything that we made on this channel, that we discovered and explored on this channel, that led to the creation of Zenith Run, which was, in my mind, a demonstration of what we do on this channel, of a true low budget production, right? So I go into that more in detail. A video we'll look at a highlight for that, and I'll show you the teaser, and just basically want to let you know that this series is coming next week, sort of an official announcement, right? So what we're going to do now is we're just going to kind of take a walk down memory lane and just look at all the how-to videos that we did that led up to this production, right? So let's just take a look at a clip here that I'll be using for reference. Okay, great. So now let's take that and really break it down. We're going to deconstruct what we did to create that. So I want to get you excited about the possibilities of realizing your own ideas. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at excerpts from content on the channel, all the videos that I made that went directly into Zenith Run, right? So let's take a look at some of those. And as always, the first thing we got to do is get a script going. You need to have a journey that the audience can follow. The most effective thing that I found, and the easiest thing that I found, is Dan Harmon, Story Structure 101, super basic stuff, right? For your no budget, you need a clear plan of action. So here we're just going to look at the momentum budget. What we're doing is we're building realistic expectations, but we're creating momentum so that this idea will get out of our head and into the world. So to save money, I got to take a look at what props and costumes I already have on hand, what I can recycle. So next, with the buttons, I'm going to customize them to tie them into the rest of the piece without having to sew on new buttons. I'm just simply going to take these buttons and paint them black. And then once that's dry, I'm going to glue on these triangles that I prepared earlier. And that's just going to make it more custom. For the costumes that I did need, I had to find some really inexpensive options. We'll be building this hat. Jacket. I always go for like these Euro cut jackets, and this I was able to get at the Goodwill, I think for like $8. T-shirt, right? So we're just building layers and incorporating all this stuff, and then like a pair of pants. And as always, there's some original props that need to be made. Here I'm doing the old trick with the Dremel tool where you can make rivets. This is a very useful, very effective tool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a dry brush with silver metallic paint. I do want this to have a metallic look. Hit the high points, the edges with my finger, and then now I'm going to seal this all together with a clear coat. The set was really easy and satisfying to build. It was a simple set of chairs and a console. Here I go over this in detail. So I'm just sort of getting familiar with this thing, ripping it apart. So then I screw it to the bottom. And now, you know, it just moves a little. That's all you need. And you need to warn the actors, like, hey, don't go crazy with this, but you can move it. Look at this thing. I can't even fit in the frame. So I have this piece, that piece, knobs. You got to give actors knobs. I tend to overbuild just because once people start handling these things, you never want it to be delicate. So here it is in the yard. I have a primer coat on everything. Sometimes I take these dollar store nail polishes when I just need to add a bit of color. And what's nice about the nail polish for this kind of stuff is it's meant to paint nails, right? So it's really thick in the brush, so it's easier to paint little things like that. And it just breaks up all that silver. The whole thing was on green screen, so I go over how to do a makeshift, inexpensive green screen setup. we're talking about low budget here, right? So if you go on Amazon or if you shop online, you can find a green screen, right? So here I am, I'm on this, I'm talking, it's just all about me in this chair. All this stuff is not in the scene, right? But once I'm keyed out, all right, so I'm keyed out here, this is just a quick key, and then all this stuff, we're just gonna mask out, and then now I'm having my scene. Does that make sense? In the next video, I give an overview of how I create my VFX compositions. So now I have this plate, right? So I put that plate in the background, right? So I add these lights, and then now this light is a moving light, right? Well, there's certain things that I like to do, right? So there's always sort of basic looks, and you know, they're very, very stylized. And that's what I want, because I'm comping together all these fake elements. I'm trying to create sort of a heightened reality, if you will. I really wanted practical spaceships for this project, so I go to the supermarket and bash a spaceship, and then I show you how to make a VFX composition of that. So I go to the supermarket, and then I know that I made the right choice because, wow, I found this weird, goofy hair gel bottle that's amazing. And then I saw a lot of people use these probiotic yogurts for really cool rocket engines. It's just perfect. So now I have these thicker strips, and what I want to do is just give like a little bit of a raised look. All right, so here's the final weathering pass. I got the powders. First I'm going to go with like a gray. In the next video, we're going to film this. Put that on there. Whoa. So this is what I would do. I would mock up the shots. Then we go and we have our ship that we built, and now we sort of have a little bit of a direction. Set up the shots, go back to the computer. Okay, that matches what I had in mind. Again, we'll modify that, but we're on track. We're masking out our ship. Now I'm doing, we're tracking the camera so I know where to put my star in. I have some flares, and now I'm doing some lighting effects. And again, we just think of this like weathering, right? We're hiding the crimes, we're putting the layers, and the layers is what really sells it, brings everything together. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh great, I have some artifacting lights, little things that are probably not realistic, but add to the visual look of everything. So now, while all that information is fresh in our minds, let's take a look at the teaser so we can see how it all came together.
You looking for a hard driver?
You came in at 4,996 in your class, and you told me that you could fly.
It's a lot going on, but it's all very doable. And the whole purpose of the videos is to show you that yes, you can do it, right? And if you just like to follow along, it's really interesting to get some insight at what are the layers, right? What's going on behind the content that you enjoy. So hopefully this is gonna broaden your whole experience of the series and really put it into perspective. And again, you know, I just want to reiterate, the whole goal of this series was to highlight a no budget production, right? That was, for me, was my stated goal and what I stayed true to. And I'm, you know, very excited to practice what I preach and to have a real tangible example to share with you of what's possible, right? And, you know, I feel like there's a depth of information of how-to videos where, say, you know, you're like, well, I don't know, I would have done that different, or maybe you wished it was more dramatic than comedic or whatever, but, you know, you can do it yourself, you know? And I really encourage you to do that. So As always, I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out the merch shop. We got the t-shirts. Also, we got the Zenith Run stuff coming out now. So we got these great Zenith Run t-shirts, the hats. Very excited to offer those to you. I don't even have mine yet. They're in the mail. Hopefully I'll have them next week. And again, next week, Zenith Run, be sure to tune in. What really helps is to share that and to link it on your social media. And, you know, if you're watching this in the future, there'll be a link right away here to start watching the show now. Well, remember, I'm just here to help make sci-fi.